I'm back, and it's only been a year of, being absent and not making videos, and yeah, I only have 2 videos on the channel right now. I figure I have an idea, I'm gonna come back. I actually have a topic, it's a project. A little bit of background info on this. I did this when I was probably 16 or 17. Not very proud of it, but that's what projects are for, is we can always make them better. It is this. This is a Walthers GP9M that originally came in a Trainline set that I got when I was 14. And I had painted it up in what I thought was a Chicago and Northwestern scheme. And I had actually bought a donor locomotive because I broke off the handrails to the original one. And so I attempted to kind of, reproduce it to look like a GP9RM from Chicago Northwestern rebuilt in the 70s. But I'm not too happy with it. I think I could have done a much better job here. As you can see, there's a lot of missing paint and just overall just kind of a lack of craftsmanship here. And so I thought it would be a good time to kind of take my founded skills since then and use them to create a better looking locomotive. Because this obviously ain't it. And I don't know what I was thinking. It was a good start, but kind of needs some work. So I'm going to be repainting this thing. I'm going to be doing an entire mechanical rebuild on it because as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't run. And we're going to be making this into, a GP20. Because that's really what this shell is based off of. So GP20, I don't know what the road name is going to be yet. I'm thinking probably either New York Central, Penn Central, or Conrail. And yes, I know they weren't delivered prototypically with a dynamic brake blister, but I figured that's the easiest paint scheme, instead of something more complicated like CB&Q with the Chinese red and the stripes, or Santa Fe with the war bonnet. So we're gonna take a crack at it. This episode is gonna be basically kind of, I don't know how you say, I guess going over what needs to be done for the project, what tools we're gonna need, and what steps we're gonna do going forward in order to get this into a, more presentable locomotive. So I want to apologize for the mess here. I guess it's not really a workbench if you don't have tools and lying around. But anyway, I got a couple of side projects here, installing couplers, whatnot, but take this out of the way. But what I did do when I first decided to rebuild this was I actually included a wiring diagram, because this was DCC. This came in the Walthers Trainline set, and it had a pretty bare bones DCC decoder. Had a front light and obviously motor control. No sound or anything, nothing fancy like that. But yeah, I did draw a wiring diagram for it, and I did resolder everything back together. I originally actually had made this engine into a dummy locomotive, and then I decided, nope, that was too easy, and so I put everything back together, and I had resoldered the decoder into it, and it did run for a while, and I put it on the track about 6 months ago, and sure enough, I entered the address and nothing. So I'm not sure if the decoder is fried. I'm not sure if I was entering the address wrong, if there was something wrong with the cab, but that's basically what we're doing here. So the donor locomotive that I did buy was this Alaska Railroad GP9 right here. And I bought this off of Train World for, I guess, 50 bucks at the time. Yeah, a little bit steep for a cheap model like this, but what I'm thinking is, based on the shell, and you'll see pictures of this, is if I can get off the shell real quick, which it's always going to give me trouble, because why not? And you know what, I didn't even realize that there's a styrene strip that I glued here for some reason. I have no idea what I was getting at when I put that there. There was just some Frankenstein thing, but there we go. Okay, so I don't even know. The interior, I think this window glass was glued in. Actually, I'm able to take it out, so that's nice. But no more disassembly. This is just for planning purposes. This video, you can see the paint is actually really thick in some spots, and I actually, believe it or not, I had hand painted this locomotive, so definitely going to try an airbrush, and you could actually see if you look fairly closely there. you can see the glue spots where I decided to super glue the handrails back into place, and you see that ugly sheen there, and there's not really much you could do with that. I also tried to trim the pilot a little bit. I had no idea what I was thinking about there, and I tried to drill some, I mean, you can see they're pretty big holes. I was trying to put some grab irons and stuff there. You see I could drill some holes for the class lights. The only thing I think that's aftermarket on this model right now is this little brass horn right here. I think I'm going to keep that for the project. I think that's probably, looks like an S3L. That could be Conrail. So, I don't know. Not really sure yet what I'm going to salvage from this shell. I could keep the shell, but I'm thinking what the plan is I have a perfectly good shell right here. Something that hasn't really been altered, you know, minus the handrails taken off of it, but I'm probably going to replace them with brass stanchions and some brass wire and really make this thing pop. So I'm thinking the plan is I'll strip the paint off of this shell. I'm going to attempt, and I say attempt here, to kind of fix a decoder, because I don't exactly know what happened here. Possibly one of the wires. You could just see it's a very, very, very piss-poor soldering job, and that's probably why the decoder doesn't work as it should, because I got very poor joints in the soldering pads there. But that can always be fixed. I could always use a wick and kind of fix that, you know. Also, the side frames are wrong. These are supposed to be Blomberg-style trucks, but these actually I swapped from the Alaska Railroad locomotive. So you can see that the Alaska Railroad locomotive actually has Blomberg trucks, which is incorrect. I know that the GP9s that were delivered to the Alaska Railroad, they had the, I guess, I can't think of the word for it right now, but they had like Alco-style side frames. So those are going to be swapped. The couplers, as for this model, I think the couplers I'm going to keep. These are KD158s. I'm going to try to have the camera focus here. There it is. So the couplers are in very good shape. I haven't had an issue with them. I hate the Easy Mates for the life of me. That's probably why you can see I have a pile of them over here. It's because I actually replaced all my old rolling stock that had the Easy Mate couplers. And now they have KD either 158s or 150s or 156s. Because they actually have a collection of them in these old pill jars that I have. So, just kind of an easy way to keep your stuff organized, I guess. Even though I'm a hypocrite because literally nothing on this table is organized. I'm not even kidding you. I literally have a coach that's been sitting out here for months. So, go figure on that. So obviously you can see we got a lot of work ahead of us. I've never really dove into something like this before. To be honest, I'm a little scared because I'm feeling a little bit out of my element here. But, you know, I have resources that I can rely on. There's always Facebook groups. There's always, dare I say, Reddit. I don't even use Reddit that much. But there are groups out there that can help with this project. I have tons of resources at hand. It's not like I'm going in completely blind on this. And I've seen a couple of YouTube videos, you know, people doing rebuilds on old Tyco locomotives and old Atherton Blue Box locomotives. So I have taken apart this thing before completely, and I have rebuilt it. I do have the tools for it now, but I'm going to be spending a little bit of money probably on, eventually I want the rear light to work on it. It doesn't have a rear working light. It just has, it's literally blanked out on the shell. I'm not even kidding you. I have the holes actually drilled, but as for the shell itself, as you can see, that's not going to accommodate a headlight unless I try to mill out that weight, I guess, that's sitting there. So I guess just take it step by step. The first part I'm going to do is probably strip the shell, and then strip all of the, unsolder all the joints from the decoder there, and then take off the wipers and all the trucks and the gear tower and the motor. Kind of give it a full service, see what the commutator looks like, and see if that's got any carbon on it. As far as I know, it's a low run model. Probably shouldn't have any carbon built up on it. It's probably only ran around my layout like maybe 16 or 17 times, and maybe for a runtime of 5 minutes each, so I'm not going to do the math on there, but you can see that there's probably not heavy wear on it. So stay tuned for part 2. I'm really looking forward to this project. Yeah, I'm a little bit scared, but, you know, everybody's got to do something that they're scared of sometimes, and, you know, that's what makes us better people. So I'm excited, scared, nervous, a little bit of both, but I think that if this project becomes a success, we could see more like this in the future. Stay tuned.